There's never been a better time to sell or trade your used car or truck.
Davenport Auto Park is ready to buy your pre-loved vehicle. The market is hot for used cars and we're paying top dollar.
Drive into Davenport today and turn your car into cash.
You'll get a cash offer on the spot. We'll even pay off your loan and give you a ride home.
Or we'll help you pick out a new ride.
Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount. For the ride of your life and the life of your ride. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Welcome to Cuisine with Jean, and we are going to have a really good time today because we're going to learn some things as well as get some good recipes. Peyton McDaniel is our guest, and you are going to help talk about ripe revival.
Right.
You're a farmer in Whitaker's, seventh generation.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. And you always knew when you went away to state to college or university, that was in your heart.
Yeah.
You needed to do it.
Yep.
You wanted to do it.
And it just kind of gets in your blood, I guess, like people say, and it's what I wanted to do.
What's your link with Ripe Revival?
So, I've been with Ripe Revival for from the beginning. I guess before it was even really formed. Will Kernicki, the CEO of Ripe Revival, we've been good friends a long time, and so we started working with him before he came back to Rocky Mount. We started working with him, moving produce and things that we were growing. We needed help moving, and he's really good at that. And he had this vision for Ripe Revival and giving back to the community. So we were glad to be able to join up with him.
Mm-hmm. And you, because you've got a brother and a cousin who farm with you also, you've had to diversify and add on some new products to support three families, right?
Three new families coming, graduating from NC State within I think 3 years of each other, and so you take an operation and you just add three full-time employees with three families. It took a lot, so we had to change our business model.
And in Whitaker's, you've always been in Whitaker's. Have you had to buy more land and expand?
Yeah, we've expanded quite a bit. Tripled. I guess we've tripled in size and in Nash and Halifax County now.
Well, let's get started. Folks, this is one of those recipes that your grandma had or your great-grandma had, and it's going to be cabbage with bacon and pan-fried cornbread. I mean, I took a look at that, and I thought, I haven't seen that since my mother-in-law passed away at 98, not too long ago in Scotland Neck. So, okay, what do you do first?
So what we're going to do is this is what we call side meat, and I got this from Smith's Red and White here in Dorches. So we're gonna start with that, and at medium heat. We're going to start frying that.
Now, what's the difference between side meat and bacon? Looks like bacon to me.
It does. Actually, side meat is, and the bacon is cut off of the side meat, I believe, but it actually doesn't create quite as much grease. So that's nice.
Oh, okay. Because you're not going to drain the grease.
Because I'm not going to drain the grease. No, we get done, we won't drain the grease. So it's really that doesn't create quite as much grease. So but it gives the same flavor.
And cabbage, now that would be a summer crop, but do you grow things year round?
Yeah, so this is cabbage that we grow. We'll start it in March. Try to start beginning of March, and we'll harvest May and June. We'll start back planting in mid-August because the summer heat. Cabbage doesn't like the summer heat here, especially here in eastern North Carolina. So we'll start back in August and plant and harvest in late October sometime, but November and into December.
The equipment that you use to do it is so different from what, I know I've seen pictures of my husband with his father with a mule. Do you remember those times? You've probably seen those pictures.
I've seen pictures, yes.
Pictures, right. Now, the machinery is so highly sophisticated with sensors that it maps out land and practically drives itself,
yeah,
right?
In fact, lots of times all you have to do is you just have to have an operator sit in the seat and all you have to do is mash a button. When it gets to the end, he stops and he has to turn around and sometimes it'll turn around for you.
Did you have a problem this year? A lot of us heard about shortages and increased fertilizer prices and whatnot. Were you impacted by that?
The 22 crop was extremely expensive to produce, but our return was the same. So margins were extremely thin, and so yes, fertilizer costs, fuel fuel was, and even fuel shortage last summer. So that made it very difficult for us.
And so that impacted you. I mean, you had
Oh,
to
absolutely.
struggle and whatnot. Did you have to produce less because of that, or were you?
Well, you just got to figure out how you can where you can be most efficient, and where do you where do you cut costs? And some costs you just can't cut. You can't cut out fertilizer. You have to use it. Well, what type of fertilizer? What can you do to save money? Because this is a 7th generation farm, so we're going to continue it and for generations to come. So we have to do the best we can and try to be as profitable as we can.
Well, and you really are showing what a lot of people have maybe thought about is the real business side of farming. I mean, you have to be a sophisticated business person now
Yeah,
to survive.
It's not the same. I tell people what I do, and they say, "Oh, you get to drive tractors all day." I haven't driven a tractor in years, and so it's very it's very different than I guess a lot of people perceive it. And it's in farming is global now. It's global. It's not like it. Not like it was 20, 30 years ago. So
That smells different than bacon when it cooks,
Oh, yeah.
don't you think?
yep.
Side meat. So about four strips of side
And so
meat.
I figured here 4 pieces. It's enough. It's this would be dinner for 2. And you can see it. It's not like regular bacon. It's not producing a whole lot of grease.
No, it's not. Well, you want to cut up.
Yeah.
You've already got some cabbage, but do you want to just kind of?
Yeah. Kind of show what we're doing here. So we've washed it, and so now and we're gonna cut it in half and just be careful because it can be tough.
This isn't organic, right? We're going to talk about. You do a lot of organic
Yeah,
farming.
yeah.
But this is not.
This is not, but no, we do a lot of organic. Like I said, that was part of our change in our business model in 2000 and really in 2008 when I was still in high school in 2008, but that was part of our business model. We changed and knew we had to do something different, and so that's kind of where we got started with
Why
organic.
did you know you had to do something different?
Just like I said, you bring in three more people in your operation,
Diversify
and you
and
had to diversify, and so that's what we did. We started with that in 2008, I believe. Maybe it was the winter of 2007, and we started that year, I believe, I think it was 30 acres total, and our peak, which was 2000, and our peak in organic production in 2020 was about 800 acres just in organic, not including our conventional row crop and vegetable operation too, but that was just on the organic side.
And how many do you have now?
We farm a couple of thousand. We farm and just cabbage a year. We grow 100 acres of cabbage a year, and
your
and
market?
our other vegetables as well. So we grow several hundred acres of vegetables, and obviously our row crop operation.
Well, let me go back to organic because I think, I go in the grocery store and here's a big organic section and whatnot. It's a lot more complicated than people might think. And
Yeah.
did you have to go be trained?
Yeah, actually, I
to get
did.
certified?
Well, I went through a training one time, and I think that was in 2007. Like I said, I was still in high school, and I did a training
In high
just
school, good for you.
to learn how to do these things. And then, but every year we have to go through inspections. It's the federal government comes out and inspects us, and we have to follow the rules and regulations of the National Organic Program, which are set forth by the Department of Agriculture. So this is it's a lot to it for sure, and we have to abide by those rules and regulations and be ready for unannounced inspections and then a yearly inspection where they look at everything that we've done.
Well, and a lot of what they're checking, because I see signs in fields, this is organic, do not put any chemicals,
Right,
or do
that's
not
right.
whatever. So it's more of a pristine model of you can't use
Yeah.
anything toxic or any.
That's right. And everything really has to be naturally derived. No synthetic fertilizers. No synthetic fertilizers, and really no chemicals that would not be naturally derived.
So it's more expensive.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and then you have to bring labor into that because you can't use a herbicide like something like Roundup. So we have to go and those things have to be done by hand or by machine. So it's not just a pass over and you kill those weeds.
Which is why people, hopefully, if you see the price are higher on organic, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, it costs us so much more to produce. You get a product that is free from pesticides and GMOs and that sort of stuff, and if that's where you want to be and what you want, that's how you want to what you want to eat, then that's the route you would go.
Do you do reading and whatnot to determine what the market wants more of in organic?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times we'll have we have our buyers. They will they'll tell us this is where market trends are, and so we have to make arrangements. And so when we actually go out and we plant a crop, we're actually normally planning 2 years in advance. So we actually we actually sit down and we figure out what we're going to do in 23, what we're going to do in 24, and this is probably what's going to happen in 25. So it's a little more to it than just go out and planting something. We have to sit there and we have to plan for the future.
And with Ripe Revival, you sell some to them, you donate some to them.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
we
really nice.
we've been involved with them for many years now, and we've been partners with them, and it's been really good for us. And normally we would go out and in our sweet potato fields or our cabbage fields, we would leave so much. And it really is disheartening when you go out and you plant a crop and you start in March, and then it gets down to June, and you look at everything that you've still got left out there, and you put all this time and energy and sweat into it. You really want to reap those benefits of giving back to the community. And so it's been really good for us. It's been a lot of fun, and seeing these people on these the mobile markets that we have now, and even just donating to food banks. Which back during the COVID pandemic, we actually delivered and donated to food banks weekly. And I think I can't remember how many millions of pounds we donated, but it was. And I even went along on those trips and gave out and helped give out food at these food banks. So it was really rewarding to be able to give back some what you've produced. And give it back to some of these people.
And the range for Ripe Revival has really expanded as far as where I think you do the boxes. And many of you may have heard, you can go on their website, and we'll have that on the screen, and even order a weekly box of produce and pick what you want. And you do that in Wilmington too, right?
There's a lot of it. It really goes from the Triangle all the way down to Wilmington. So that's kind of the range there of the Ripe Revival market. Ripe Revival produce, we actually ship all up and down the East Coast into Canada.
Great.
So we and to really say to the Mississippi River and east. So that's kind of where we are with that. It's been fun, and it really is rewarding to be able to give back to these people.
I bet so, and to be there, you're personally and hand it to them.
Yeah.
You know that you're helping keep families alive and,
That's right.
and eating and whatnot. I think that needs flipping.
Yep.
We're going to take a quick break, and he's going to put the cabbage in and show all these wonderful other ingredients that goes in it as soon as we get back.
There's never been a better time to sell or trade your used car or truck.
Davenport Auto Park is ready to buy your pre-loved vehicle. The market is hot for used cars, and we're paying top dollar.
Drive into Davenport today and turn your car into cash.
You'll get a cash offer on the spot. We'll even pay off your loan and give you a ride home.
Or we'll help you pick out a new ride.
Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount. For the ride of your life and the life of your ride. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Smells really good in here, Peyton. By the way, Peyton is a board member with Ripe Revival, and you've been on that board for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, well, that was when we first started this thing. Will had this idea, and that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he was going to give back. And so, we've talked about it for a long time, and we were able to jump on board and help him out with this. So,
well, and faith has been a very important part of Will's mission for this too, isn't it?
For sure, yep. And so it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, we love giving back to the community.
Okay, the bacon is done.
Yep.
You want to add the cabbage and tell us what else you add?
So I'm gonna. This is a half a head of cabbage.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this, and then put some of this other stuff in here with it, but did not take out any of the grease.
Okay.
But there's not much grease. This does not produce a whole lot. It's not. This is what they call side meat. So it doesn't produce.
Let me just make sure that everybody can see that there's not much grease in there.
It doesn't.
And you commented you don't love this pan. It was my pan, by the way, so I resent that tremendously. But
it's nothing like cooking with your old stuff at home, right?
Well, and you do mainly outdoor cooking.
That's exactly right.
Being here today, but I don't like these pans, non-stick pans that have stuff that gets in your food. They've done a lot of research on that. And just like you're an organic, you have organic food. People need to be really careful what coats their pans and whether or not it's guaranteed that it doesn't get in your food. I've got a good friend I do a doctor show with, Dr. Perlmutter. He will only cook in cast iron and stainless steel. He said he doesn't want to have any chemicals getting his food. Okay, what are you adding right now?
Okay, so what we're doing now, we got 2 tablespoons of butter. That's what we're gonna do. So, talking about being healthy, this is on the spectrum of healthy. Cabbage is very healthy for you, but we're gonna take it to the next level here. But cabbage, great in vitamin A and vitamin K. So cabbage is very healthy. We're gonna add a few things here. We've got 2 tablespoons of butter. Like I said, this is a half a head of cabbage. We've got a half of a teaspoon of garlic powder.
Okay.
I'm gonna add that in there.
Whose recipe is this? Is this a family recipe?
Yeah, between that and then I've doctored it some, and but it's my grandmother used to do this. My mom's done this. So now we've got quarter teaspoon of black pepper, and you can kind of use that however you would like, as much as you want or as little as you want. And then a quarter teaspoon of crushed red pepper. So this may be something you want to back off of or add more of it. Depends, how hot you like your cabbage, or if you like spicy foods or whatever.
Are you going to steam that now?
So what we're just pretty much going to saute it. But what we're going to do is we're going to cover it for just a minute, and let that butter melt. When that melts, then we'll be able to just kind of stir it around in there.
Well, I want you to tell people because folks, when he brought this out, I thought, I've seen that before.
So what we've got here, this is, which people call it lacy cornbread.
Yes.
So what this?
Lazy or lacy?
I've always lacy is what I guess.
Lace, like lace.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what we've done. We've got a cornmeal.
Yeah.
Got cornmeal and self-rising flour and a little bit of water. So we've it's a 3-to-1 mixture. So 3 tablespoons of cornmeal.
What kind of cornmeal?
I just regular corn. I can't remember what this is, but nothing
Is
special.
it self-rising?
The cornmeal, no, just regular cornmeal, and you got self-rising flour.
Okay.
Got a tablespoon of self-rising flour.
And how much? What's the ratio?
It's everything's 3-to-1.
3-to-1. Okay.
So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add a little water. And just enough. You know what pancake batter looks like?
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be a little thinner than that. So what we can do is when you do that, you'll pick it up and you'll just get a little bit in a spoon and drop it in there, and about a minute on each side until it starts getting brown around the edges.
Do you cook it on the stove or do you cook it in the oven?
I cook it on the stove in about a half inch of oil.
Okay.
I use vegetable oil for that.
And a lot of people do it in the oven. I mean, my mother-in-law used to float it in grease in the oven, and she would hand make her patties. Have you ever seen that done?
Yeah.
But so you just get it on the tip. And you
just
drip
enough,
it in.
and just enough, and a pan this size right here, you can put 8 or 10 in there.
Okay.
You'll have 8 or 10.
You have to do lots of batches then, because that's not enough, is it?
Depends on how much cornbread you want to eat, But yeah.
And it's got holes.
But I
in
can eat all that right there, no problem.
You've already eaten some of it.
I did. I have to admit that.
But it's very, very crispy. Do you mind if I break some?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
And the longer you cook it, the crispier it'll get, and the darker it'll get. So if you want to like cornbread, that may not be quite as crispy. 45 seconds on each side. It also depends, but it's medium heat in your oil. Not too hot. Yeah, but about a minute on each side until those edges start getting brown. Flip it over.
With tongs or a spoon?
Yep.
Tongs.
Just flip it over.
Okay, we want to talk about the mobile market for Ripe Revival. Where can people find those? What do they do? What do they have available on the mobile market?
The mobile market is actually old transit buses that were retrofitted with coolers and some cold storage to hold some of this stuff, and then they travel all over East North Carolina right now. Got a couple of buses doing routes, and then there's more buses being retrofitted now for the future. So it's reaching a lot of people, a lot of kids people that don't have access to fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, even dairy and meat. So it's been good to reach a lot of these people, and a lot of these people they don't know where their food comes from. So this is really nice to be able to go to an event and know that you produce this and see someone who may be less fortunate than you and is able to enjoy that.
And how would people in outlying communities know when one of these mobile markets is going to come to their area?
So there's a weekly newsletter that goes out via email, but also on social media at your Right Revival. And then if you want to go to rightrevival.com, you can see that schedule, and you can also sign up and you can get that weekly newsletter.
So anybody watching can sign up and get that newsletter.
Absolutely, and we encourage anyone to go to these mobile markets because, I mean, this is supermarket quality stuff. Sometimes it can be seconds, but it's normally anything that's that everything on there is perfectly fine, is extremely healthy, and it just may have a cosmetic damage or something like that. That's the reason that either got rejected somewhere, but yeah, we have enjoyed getting this stuff to people who need access to this.
But the mobile market is for people who need and people who just interested in buying healthy food.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of times the idea of the mobile market is to take it to food deserts. And so with food desert being somewhere where they don't have access to fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, so we can take this stuff to these people, and people may not have access to transportation. We're providing the grocery store right there in their backyard.
In a big bus.
That's exactly right.
And the buses are really beautiful.
Yeah, they've all been wrapped, and we had great sponsors that have helped with this, and even got some of the growers and things like that on the side of these buses. So it's really neat to see how this has transformed, and it's changing people's lives too. Children that never knew where their food was coming from.
And they probably cheer when you come.
Oh, kids love it.
Better tasting food than they're used to.
Yeah, healthy.
Yeah. So many of the people who are suffering for economically end up eating food that's not healthy, that's not good for them.
That's
for
exactly
you
right.
to eat fresh produce and really good healthy food that hadn't been processed and whatnot, it's just excellent. And to teach them how to cook it and teach them how to like it.
Oh yeah, and even on the outside of the outside of the bus, lots of times there's somebody there with the Right Revival team showing somebody what you can do with some of these fresh fruits and vegetables.
Great. Well, let's take a break, and we're going to taste it. I can't wait. I've already been just, these are wonderful. We'll be right back.
There's never been a better time to sell or trade your used car or truck.
Davenport Auto Park is ready to buy your pre-loved vehicle. The market is hot for used cars, and we're paying top dollar.
Drive into Davenport today and turn your car into cash.
You'll get a cash offer on the spot. We'll even pay off your loan and give you a ride home.
Or we'll help you pick out a new ride.
Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount. For the ride of your life and the life of your ride. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.
Peyton, we get to taste it now. And it looks like what I'm used to for country cooking. You grew up with country cooking, right?
Yeah.
But you look pretty healthy. So
how
come?
I think that could be debated for sure, but yeah, I mean it's healthy. It's like I said, it's cabbage. I mean
I would love to taste it. Yeah,
it's a very healthy vegetable. So and then we got
cabbage is always healthy. And you made me feel better when I saw there was not a whole lot of grease left in the pan.
Right, and that's the reason I use that side meat is there's very little grease. Unlike a lot of bacon, it's very little grease.
Very good. Tell me again the spices.
So you've got you don't really need any salt because you've got the grease there. So butter, I think it was 2 tablespoons of butter, and black pepper, garlic powder, and then I like spicy food, so add a little bit more red pepper than probably most people would.
Would you, if you weren't doing it here now, might you even add more red pepper?
No, I think this is probably for me. Yeah, but I wouldn't add any more really. But black pepper and red pepper. So, and then we've got cornbread here. Like I said, that was about a minute on either side. You can see how
really
it's thin and it's crispy on the edges. So that's kind of what you.
Are you careful so it doesn't break your teeth? Is that
well, it won't be that bad.
Excellent.
That's how my grandmother does it. So
Are there certain meals like every Sunday lunch she has this? Or?
You know, we've been in the cabbage business now 5 or 6 years, and so this is kind of you know, we always ate it growing up. You know, lunch, you know, one day a week or whatever. No, it's become a little more regular now.
Now, did your wife grow up eating like this too?
Well, we're still working on getting her to cook like that. Because and people always say that, you know, but we're still working on getting her to be able to cook like this. We're working on it.
Well,
I think she's a really good cook, but we're working on this.
And
this.
You've got a kid on the way too.
I do. Yep.
Little girl.
A little girl.
Well, and women are getting more into farming, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and a lot of people I deal with, and we've, my mother, she still works with us on the farm. My cousin, she works there in the farm and looking after our book work and making sure things are in order. And so I have a lot of people that I've done a lot of programs with over the last several years, and a lot of them are women. Which is awesome, which is great. So farming, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago, you didn't see the women involved. The technology changes. So really things have really turned around.
Great. Well, I am absolutely thrilled that you came back, that you chose to be in our area, that you're supporting agriculture here. And of course, we always want to say that the farmers market here, it's really important that people buy fresh local produce from our local farmers, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're supporting local. A lot of these growers can be smaller growers that don't have the outlets to make it to supermarket chains and or to get in the food service industry. So local farmers markets is awesome. It's helping these local producers.
And I really admire the way that you're planning years in advance and you're diversifying and organic and whatnot. And gosh, what Ripe Revival does is just amazing. And it's just growing and growing and growing.
Absolutely. Just over the past couple of years, it has grown exponentially.
And you've been on the board since the beginning?
Yep. So we've been on the board since the beginning, and we've got a lot of great board members, a lot of community advocates here, and as well as some of these commodity groups and people like that involved. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know a lot of people, and so we enjoy it and we love giving back.
Peyton, thank you. This
Absolutely.
has been wonderful. Thank you for joining us. The recipe will be on Cuisine with Jean, the website, and you can watch it on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.
There's never been a better time to sell or trade your used car or truck.
Davenport Auto Park is ready to buy your pre-loved vehicle. The market is hot for used cars and we're paying top dollar.
Drive into Davenport today and turn your car into cash.
You'll get a cash offer on the spot. We'll even pay off your loan and give you a ride home.
Or we'll help you pick out a new ride.
Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount. For the ride of your life and the life of your ride. Davenport Auto Park, Rocky Mount.